Good morning. Welcome to the Pioneer podcast. We used to believe that only humans could resolve messy, high-stake customer problems. But what happens when AI agents prove they can do this too? I'm Declan Ivory, VP of Customer Support at Intercom, and today I'm joined by Natalie Hurst, Senior Director of Customer Success at Nuuly, and a true pioneer in AI-first customer support. Natalie, you're very welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Declan, as always.
Today we're going to unpack a little bit about how AI is handling even more complex customer interactions. Uh, but what I want to really kind of look at is, from your perspective, like how has your journey been in terms of AI? Like, I know that you've traveled this journey for a number of years. Like, to some extent, I feel like you're a partner in crime when it comes to using Fin and kind of, really driving kind of an AI first, AI driven approach. I'd love to, for you maybe to share a little bit about the journey that you've been on, particularly now as you're moving into a world where you're really kind of embracing the fact that AI can solve really complex queries and issues and business operations. And you really have embraced that as a business. So really love to, understand that progress that you've made and how you see the future as well. Like, where is it leading to?
Yeah, it's really wild, isn't it? The journey that Intercom and Nuuly have been on together. So as really a tech focused and future focused company, we have been very lucky in this partnership with Intercom. We started just about 7 years ago with very minimal bot support. We had our custom bots that were very button focused. Customers had to choose their own adventure, so to speak. And it was as smart as we were going to make it. So fast forward to where we are today with enhancements across the board of automation, Fin tasks, being able to understand exactly what the customer wants in that moment and take action on it. I think that's really the biggest thing of where I saw us 3-4 years ago was, is this bot actually going to be doing the actions that my team can? I have the best team in the entire world. They are empathetic, they are smart, they're able to read the customer journey and know exactly what needs to be done. So it took me a little while to have the faith in Fin that it would be able to do the same. And it's proven me wrong. I mean, it's been above and beyond what I really expected it to be, which is wonderful.
And, on that journey, obviously, with Fin initially, we were very focused on informational queries. And then, with Fin 2, as we called it, we relaunched a lot of guidance and control, etc. Like, talk me through how important that was on the progress and the journey for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for us has been that every time that we say, oh, there's got to be an easier way to do XYZ, you all come out and say, hey, we have this thing that's coming down the pipeline that you should use. And it's exactly what we need. There are so many times in the customer journey or my day to day that I'm looking at our interactions and saying, ugh, how can I make this easier? And the response is already, oh, we have something for you over at Intercom. So being able to have a team that not only embraces Fin and a customer base that embraces Fin has really allowed us to get dirty in it and test the waters and see what works for us and see what doesn't. And luckily for us, the vast majority of stuff has worked tremendously. So with tasks specifically, being able to alleviate a lot of the longer conversations that our team takes care of and passing those over to the bot to be able to wrap them up in seconds has allowed our team to do a lot more of the retention-based conversations, which is really important for our business, which is subscription-based.
And obviously, when you are talking about, handling what for your customers are really kind of critical operations and critical queries, right? And obviously there's a lot of emotion when it's kind of people are paying for a service or paying for goods. How do you ensure like that AI is delivering at a level where you can trust AI and you're building up that confidence in your customers that this is a great experience?
Awesome question. Like I said in the beginning, I had my doubts on how much AI in general would really be able to bring to the table for us. So I wanted full control. I talk a lot about you can't just turn on Fin and wish for the best and assume it's going to be perfect. So we had a lot of monitoring, making sure that it was responding how it's supposed to respond, making sure that it was actually doing the actions that it was telling customers it was doing. So really monitoring it, having somebody dedicated to watch it, tweak as needed on a daily basis, and not only making sure that the articles are up and running, which is the foundation. You should always have those articles ready to go on day one, but making sure you're utilizing guidance, snippets, the whole arsenal to make sure that Fin is as successful as a agent would be.
So I think what you're saying is like really be intentional about what you're trying to do and achieve when you use an AI agent. And also I think, really focus on how can you ensure that agent is the best version of what you want as a business in terms of your policies, tone, culture, etc.
Yeah, the way that we've approached it has been a lot of twofold. Essentially, we look at what is our biggest pain point from an associate perspective. So, what is my team struggling to resolve in a quick way? What are we struggling to take care of? And then from the flip side, even more importantly, is what are the customer pain points? Where are the ways that those two issues overlap? And how can we use Fin to take care of those, right? So, the biggest thing and the example that we use all the time is our pause cancel, right? Customers who are just want to take a little break from their Nuuly during a period of time. Again, those would take quite a bit of time from start to finish for our team to pull up the account, check the status. Are they eligible to pause or cancel their account? Are they eligible for a refund? Where now we transition that over to Fin, and not only has CSAT increased on those types of interactions, but time to solve has also decreased, which is a perfect scenario.
And how have you looked at kind of, customer satisfaction or customer experience through that? Like, again, how are you making sure that you are delivering to the standards that you expect?
Yeah, that was very nerve-wracking for me. We actually did not have CSAT on for Fin for years. We just kind of assumed the worst in that world and put blinders on and really focused on our team. If you're not familiar with the Nuuly CSAT, our team goes above and beyond for our customers. We typically hover around anywhere between a 95 and a 98% CSAT rating, which, again, speaks volumes to how wonderful my team is. So when I turned on CSAT for Fin pre-tasks to get a level of what are we gauging at? Where's our benchmark? I was nervous and it wasn't performing great. It couldn't take the actions that our associates could. So our CSAT was low to start. It was hovering around 40%. But I'm happy to report since we've turned on tasks and really watched how quickly and efficiently it's handled these conversations, Fin is performing at an 80%, which is really fantastic. That's a huge amount of growth in such a short amount of time. If we were agents performing that way, it would be mind-blowing the amount of growth. So really happy with the consistency that Fin has brought to the table, because the biggest thing for us is quality. We want to retain our customers as much as possible, and we know that by bringing them the best service as possible, that's the way to do it.
I love that. I mean, even for my own operation, like really focusing on customer experience has been absolutely critical. And I think, as you're aware, we've introduced a customer experience score now within Fin, where we try and infer, did we actually deliver to the standard of service or support that we aspire to? And that for me has been game changing, because all of a sudden you can look at every conversation that you've had and you can get an appreciation of whether it was a good experience or not. And you get every signal then if there's something you need to tune or adjust or change. From that point of view, like, that's given me a lot of reassurance around the fact that we are delivering well for our customers. And in fact, we've seen a flip. We're seeing a higher CX score for Fin versus humans. And it's kind of natural, because a lot of the stuff now coming through to our human support team is really complex, really difficult stuff. But Fin is holding up really well in terms of that customer experience score and really delivering, consistently. As you mentioned, the consistency piece, like day in, day out, 24 by 7, delivering that high quality customer experience.
Yeah, it's funny the few times that, we have to circle back as a team and say, well, something didn't do something right in these situations. It's typically human error that someone set it up a certain way that was incorrect, or by changing X, it manipulated B, and we just weren't paying as close attention. So Finn is doing fantastic. Almost on the flip side now, if it wasn't for the human intervention, sometimes it would be even be performing better.
But it's an interesting segue, I think, that the next discussion, I mean, because obviously you're saying, like, to some extent, Finn will do what it's told to do or enabled to do. And like any kind of support agent, you really got to make sure you're setting Finn up for success, just as you set a human support agent up for success. And when you think about, what you've talked about in terms of Fin tasks, or what we now call Fin procedures, where you're moving into more complex, multi-step business operations and really resolving them, like how do you ensure that you're, sorry, not that you ensure, but how do you move beyond just customer service and customer support? Like, particularly in your use case around the pause cancellation. I'd love to unpack more about how you're thinking about that from a customer journey perspective.
Yeah, the biggest thing for us, again, as a subscription company, is always retention. We want to retain all of our subscribers as much as possible, but also blow them away when it comes to service, right? So I think the first answer to the question is everybody had to buy in. I think that initially, with the announcement of AI in the world, everybody was worried about losing their jobs. And at the time, everyone kind of seemed to think, oh, AI is going to do all the work. Now, 3 years later, we've kind of learned our lesson a little bit, and our team is fully bought into not wanting to do those little interactions, right? And really wanting Fin to be as successful as they are in their conversations with customers. So that's really step one, is not only me directing the team and our leadership team directing the team to say, hey, this is a thing that we're doing now. You kind of have to jump on the bandwagon. But everybody really is enthusiastic about making sure Fin is successful. And if they see anything that's incorrect, letting our team know, creating a ticket internally in Intercom and saying, hey, Fin didn't quite get this one right. Can we tweak the language here or tweak what he's doing here? Which has been huge. On the flip side is, of course, the customer, right? They love Fin, as we affectionately call it at Nuuly, Chat Cat. So everybody loves Chat Cat. When a customer interacts with them, it's very quick, it's easy. They know that if they get to an agent, it's going to be a wonderful interaction. We're going to take care of them. But sometimes customers just want a quick fix.
Yeah.
They want the resolution, they want it quickly, and Fin provides that for them. And that's why, Fin's CSAT score is so high.
You've mentioned kind of obviously retention, loyalty, really important for your business. But when you start using terms like that, it's almost like you're moving beyond what's considered traditional support, and it's more into customer success kind of a focus. Is that how you see it? Is that how you see when you move into kind of procedures and more complex business operations, that you are moving beyond traditional support?
Oh, 100%. And our team since day one has been considered customer success. That's the name of our team. We're not traditional customer success by any means. We're not in sales. We're not, making money off of our subscribers. But at the end of the day, we want our customers to be successful in their Nuuly experience. So we want not only to educate them on how to make the most of their rental, but also support them and make sure that they understand that we're here for them, no matter what the situation is. Whether, unfortunately, we have customers all over the country and their house burns down, we're going to take care of them. At the end of the day, the bottom line is important, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it's about that customer connection and making sure that they understand that you're part of a community when you join us. So how can we better engage our customer to do that? And I think one of the things that we talk about a lot, both Nuuly and Intercom together, but also internally at Nuuly, is how do we make sure our customers feel valued? And one of the things that we're looking aggressively at is outbound messaging. How do we better engage our customers from a conversation perspective so they know, hey, we see you. We want to do something special for you individually because of your scenario, whatever your situation is. So that's really important for us, is how do we retain those customers by making sure that they feel engaged? And I'm really excited to see with some of the things we just saw on stage, being able to implement, a better understanding of what each scenario is and what day-to-day looks like from a business perspective and showing up for our customers through that.
That leads on to, Nuuly is a complex business, and, you've spoken about different use cases, different brands, etc. And obviously, as you begin to look at more complex customer interactions, being able to maintain that kind of brand perspective and being able to cope with kind of fast pace of change is really important. Like, so how do you think that industries like yours can really harness AI, like, to really, embrace the fact that they are complex businesses, they do have variability across brands and culture and customer interactions?
Yeah, I think the enhancements in analytics and reporting that we've seen with Intercom, and I hope what we continue to see in the future is this understanding of every customer is unique and different, and every business is unique and different as well. So as we continue to grow and we bring on more subscribers and we continue to grow the offerings that we have, making sure Finn and our team as well has the knowledge that they need to take care of our customers and make them feel valued. Um, I think that of course, churn is very important to us, making sure that we're preventing customers from churning. So making sure that we have been educated on all of our offerings as we continue to grow is going to be really important.
So it sounds like you're really describing a world where, and I think, like, we heard a little bit about this when it comes to what we call the customer agent, where you're looking at the complete customer life cycle, and you're really kind of trying to drive an outcome-based approach around an AI agent, where it has some goal for what you want to achieve with your customer. It's got context and memory around that customer's interaction with you. I think you've touched on this before, where, like, depending on that customer's journey with you and the history of them, you want an AI agent that can tune and adjust and amend that type of mark.
Yeah, I think that, who knows what the future holds, but the biggest thing for me is how do we make a unique experience for our customers? How do we train Finn or any AI agent to be able to look at each customer history, customer conversation history, really, and tailor their approach to that customer with all that knowledge, right? So, a good example is we have customers who rarely ever reach out to us, right? It's one conversation in the 6 years that they have been a subscriber with us. They've never paused, they've never canceled. That is a wonderful customer. We want to treat that person accordingly, right? On the flip side, we have customers who are struggling a lot. They just are not grasping the rental subscription model, and that's okay. It is complicated, it is new to a lot of people. So then how do we take that customer and educate them and help them get through this process a little bit better so they're not reaching out to the team as often? So I'm really looking forward to and hopeful that, in the future, we'll be able to have Finn really dive deep into customer history, both from a order history and subscription history, but also from a conversation history. I think another big thing that I'm excited to see Finn take on a little bit more, which it's already doing, which I love, is understanding tone. People come in hot and heavy sometimes, especially our new subscribers who maybe haven't ever reached out to us before. They don't know that we're going to take care of them and we're here to listen and take and offer support where we can. So they come in hot and heavy. For Finn to come in and maybe change tone of voice a little bit with those customers and do a little bit more hand holding than they would for our longer term subscribers who are super used to us. That's a big thing for me. On the other side, my other kind of wish list item is fraud prevention. I think this is a hot topic across the board these days with AI. But having Finn be able to pick up certain trends in who are the people that maybe we need to be a little bit more aware of that are doing friendly fraud or are kind of manipulating policy a little bit more. How can Finn be a little bit more aware of those and alert us sooner, which we saw a couple minutes ago, which I'm very excited about, is those top trends. We saw 5 people interact about lost packages, or this person has reached out 10 times about lost packages. Really being able to stay on top of that data quickly and efficiently is going to be huge for our team.
So it's interesting because I think when we all started on this AI journey, we were all worried about consistency and making sure that you kind of had an agent that would follow almost, a set path in terms of its customer journey or customer interaction. And now I think we've built up a level of confidence in AI agent that we really want to exploit the agentic capability of that agent and have it adjust to the in-moment experience with the customer. As you say, based on maybe the history or based on, a profiling of the customer versus, standards you might have around, like, is this customer that's likely to, fall into your fraud category, etc. So it's really interesting that we're almost encouraging an AI agent or Fin to, think in the moment is the way to describe it. But again, you still have that deterministic control when you need it as well. Like, for example, in your case with the subscription pause flow, etc. Like, it's almost like you've got the best of both worlds now coming together, where you can allow the AI agent to have a level of agency and flexibility, but you've all the controls around it as well to be deterministic where it needs to be. Is that kind of where you see the almost the nirvana of an AI
And
agent?
I think, maybe because we were such early adopters with you all, and I made it very controlled in the beginning. I've really trusted it now. I have a lot of faith in what Fin is capable of, and where the future lies there, and what options we have for the future, because it was such a controlled environment in the beginning. I really made sure that all of our checks and balances were there, that it was not hallucinating by any means in the beginning, or still to this day. So, I think because I was maybe a little controlling in the beginning, now I'm ready to let it fly a little bit, hover the ground a little bit, not fly full force just yet.
Controlled risk taking.
Yes.
It's very good. I love it.
Perfect.
Yeah. And, just allowing you to have a little bit more agency in working with your customers. Uh, uh, just to end off again, I think you've touched on this already around, we've talked a lot about reacting to customers when they come in, but you've touched on the proactive experience and outreach. I'd love to unpack that a little bit more. Like, what do you see as kind of the vision for that kind of proactive customer experience?
Yeah, I feel like now that we've really nailed down the day-to-day, I feel way more confident again in letting Fin take on some more of this proactive messaging as well. So understanding, again, every customer is unique. How do we cater to their specific needs? So again, maybe a customer has visited the site a couple times, they've left, they haven't ordered. For Fin to be able to recognize that and outreach to the customer, hey, do you need some help? Or here's some style ideas that we think you might like. And all of it in a, again, very controlled environment, but being able to prevent churn before it happens. And again, creating a community within our subscriber base that they know that we're here for them, whether it's, styling advice or canceling their order or giving them a bonus item or a coupon to help them stay, I think is going to be a huge game changer for us.
It's almost like we're moving to a world where you almost uniquely define the customer journey in the moment.
Right.
And you have a level of confidence in an AI agent, married with the right human support capability to actually do that and do that well, both reactively and proactively.
And maybe that can happen mid-conversation, right? A customer reaches out about sizing advice, and maybe the tone is that they're struggling a little bit. For Fin to pick up on that and mid-conversation then say, hey, do you want a free bonus item just to test it out and see how it goes? Which my agents do today.
Yeah.
But for Fin to be able to do that as well in the moment of that conversation, I think would save so many customers' frustrations.
Powerful. Natalie, we've covered a lot of ground today. As always, I love engaging with you and what Nuuly is doing. I think you're true pioneers when it comes to using AI agent technology. So thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
First, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure as always, Declan.
Thank you.
Thank you.